for stopping by. I could use the company today. Yes. Oh my gosh. Some things to share with you, and that's where I'm at today. What can I say? I rolled over last night and knew immediately that I suffer from benign positional vertigo, benign proximal positional vertigo, which is an inner ear thing where sometimes the crystals get knocked out of whack, and then the world spins. And I've had it on and off with varying degrees for several years, and I get treatment for it from my physical therapist. But it had been since last year since I had an episode. And what it feels like, sometimes it can just feel like this little bit of a cheap thrill. Yeah. But other times it feels like you've got the exorcist going on with your spinning head and projectile. So I knew when I rolled over last night in the middle of the night and the room started to spin that I was in for it. And it's a very simple maneuver that treats it, but you have to go to a physical therapist. And as with all things right now, the process is protracted. So, call the physical therapist. You're on Medicare. Haven't seen you since last year. Call your primary. Leave a message. Need a referral from the primary to the physical therapist, or do you actually need to come into the primary in order to go to the physical therapist? I don't know. It's like, and that's not even the oh my gosh moment of my life today. So hang in with me. I need you. I need you. So I'm waiting for phone calls to see if, do they really need me to go into my primary to tell me, oh yeah, this is it. We all know it is, so that they can call the physical therapist and say, yeah, she needs an appointment, which means it is not happening today, which means that I have to kind of keep my head just ever so, not be whipping around like I normally do. The really sad part about all this is that I can never go on a roller coaster again. Yeah, that's part of my former life. So I'm dealing with that today. Trying to lay low, not do anything exciting. I think the cause of all this has been the extraordinary amount of cleaning I've been doing. The up and down, the bending, the picking up, the reorganizing. My pantry, my pantry needs its own HGTV show. I'm not kidding. Sometimes I just go in there and stand inside the little space and look and think, who lives here? And you know, I just got, it's like right now, I want to do it all. I want to keep myself busy. So I decided, after weeks of watching, you know, Stitching by the Lake, Marlene doing her canning thing, I've never canned in my entire life. I was going to give it a try. And with some suggestions from my friend Becky, I did. And I have to say the canning process was a success. What I canned, I don't know. So I have this rhubarb plant outside. And it's one of the few things that the deer, you know, because the leaves are poisonous, it's one of the few things the deer will not decimate in my yard. And so I have this whole strip along the back side of my house that has rhubarb and all kinds of herbs. that I grow, because the deer don't particularly care for that. They want something tender and savory like flowers and sweet. So I noticed that my rhubarb plant had suddenly was bolting and I needed to harvest it. And so I said, I'm gonna can rhubarb. I love rhubarb. Then I don't just have to freeze it. I can make jam or compote or all kinds of things. So I use my Instapot and I process the rhubarb with the sugar and the orange juice and the zest of orange, and I use this really good recipe, and the canning process was perfect. I mean, I loved hearing that little pop of the lid. But let me show you this. Would you eat this? Yeah. I don't know what to say. The one in the picture looks red. This looks like canned poop. I told G when he came out, I said, well, it kind of looks like gravy. He goes, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I said, well, are you going to eat some? He goes, I don't think so. I said, well, it might taste really good. I have 4 jars of this. I can't, even if I put a pretty ribbon on it, nobody's going to want it. I mean, they'll politely go, oh, thank you. And then as soon as I turn my back, down the garbage disposal, it's going. I don't know what is going on here. Marlene, we have an issue. And that wasn't even the worst thing that happened to me this week. I hope you're still here. I need you. That wasn't even the worst thing that happened this week. My mania is totally, you know, when things don't work out right, when I have them in a schedule, it's like it just throws off the rest of. That's why the jam didn't turn out. It was because of mania. So here I am, having the time of my life, this beautiful project bag that has this beautiful project, Mania number 3, still riding on the high of my first Mania finish, and then my second Mania start, and my third Mania, a Bent Creek, absolutely fabulous, until I started hearing the voice. The voice that said, I don't think this is going to fit on this piece of fabric. I don't think it is. Remember I looked at that piece of fabric last time? I don't think it's going to fit. So here's what I started. I actually was having a grand time till I got to here and I said, boy, there doesn't look like enough fabric. There doesn't look like it's gonna fit. How can that be? And then I looked at the pattern and it told me what size I needed. I rechecked the yarn tree calculator. I looked at the sticker that was put on there by 123, and I stitched a few more, and then that little voice that said, your jam didn't turn out, you better check the linen. So I took the linen back out and I said, I don't think that's gonna fit. Is there an echo in here? Hey, did you say something? Oh, okay. So I took out a tape measure and I measured this piece. Are you still with me? I need you. This piece says 30 count, 17 by 26. This piece is 13 by 18. 13 by 18. Now I know some of you would say, I would have known that. Yeah, but that's, I believe. And so this is a public service announcement. No matter where you get your linen from, measure it. Measure it. So I don't even have the heart. I don't have another piece that's big enough. So I wrote them. And I said, hey, I bought this on this. They keep your whole history of what you bought. I bought this piece on this day. And it has a sticker that says 17 by 26. And it measures 13 by 18. And they wrote me an email back and said, oops, sorry for the inconvenience. And we will send you out that piece when we get it. That's all they can do. I get it. That's all they can do. But we know that that is not going to be in the next month. I mean, it'll be a miracle. Yeah. What's even more horrible is that this is a decent piece of linen, so I need to frog that out, but I don't have the heart. I mean, can frogging be a mania project? Maybe. Maybe. I was having so much fun. So, my public service announcement, again, no matter where you order your piece of fabric from, measure it before you stitch. I have learned my lesson the hard way. And now this really fun project that I was so excited about and was just kind of trucking along with it is now not to be. Yeah, it's so sad. I'm so sad. So what did I do? I shopped. Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? What can you do? There's only so much you can do. I mean, there's only so many hairdos I can make out of this scraggly mess, and you know, I only live in a town of barely 2,000. There's nothing exciting going on here right now. I mean, the fact that we have a telescope in our or a spotting scope in our living room, and I'm looking at the mountain, checking out how much of the snow is melting each day. We actually got an inch more last night. So I shopped online. I went to Etsy, and I went to Happy Little Mouse because I needed happy. I needed happy, you know. Yeah, I needed that. I needed happy. And I downloaded 3 PDF files from Happy Little Mouse. One was this one, because that bird was just too freaking cute. And I just needed cute. I needed cute. And then I showed this because last night was the Zoom meetup, and the Monday night Zoom meetup is fun. It's organized by Becca from Zambri Stitches, and it's fun because there's people on there from all over. Not only people that I recognize from when I could go to Acorns and Threads, but people that I have seen at the fall fling, or people that you recognize from other floss tubes, just kind of a mix. And so, you know, Carla from Rolodex Stitcher, whose husband is working in Japan right now, she was on. The gal from Iceland was on. So it's kind of like, you know, there's people from New York, from Washington, Oregon, California, you know, Wisconsin, Goose, and Christy from Java Girl Stitch. So there's just a whole bunch of mix of people. And Zoom can be hard in that it's hard to necessarily talk and figure out who is talking, but it is just that connection when you're sitting there and you're just quietly stitching away, and you get to listen to other people's conversations back and forth, and knowing, you know, that everyone is in this in a different situation, you know. And one of the participants, you know, she lives in a studio apartment in New York City. I mean, wow, you know, that's no woods in her life. So it gives you a really good perspective. But when I downloaded this, I thought of Carla from Rolodex Stitches because she has a wicked sense of humor. And I thought, I'm going to stitch this and put it like in a really pretty ornate frame and hang it in my guest bathroom. So there you go. Isn't that a hoot? Yeah. I might just have to start that one, just to make myself feel better from spending all that time stitching and realizing that, okay, this is making me crazy. Yeah. And then the third one, I don't know why. I grew up on Japanese horror films when I was a kid. I mean, you know how small the world is? Here's a funny story for you. This is how small the world is. I had watched, when I was a kid, we used to watch like black and white Japanese horror films. And there was one called the, I think it was called The Attack of the Mushroom People. It was just, you know, it's a wonder that I even like mushrooms, because it's people who were like, had all this bubbly, like they were attacked by mushrooms and then they were attacked. It was terrifying. Why my parents let me watch? I have no idea. but I had watched The Attack of the Mushroom People. And I know I'm off on a tangent, but hey, I'm having a moment here. So the next day, or that week of when I saw that movie, I had an appendicitis attack that resulted in hospitalization and having my appendix removed. And back then, you stayed in the hospital. It wasn't an outpatient procedure. You stayed in the hospital for like 2 and 3 days after having an appendectomy. And so I was on the pediatric ward, and they wanted me to walk around. And this is all so vivid because I was walking around kind of hunched over because my incision hurt, and I was a little girl, and it hurt. And my doctor came back and swatted me on the butt. Whack. And it made me go like this. He goes, "You need to stand up straight, Anna, when you walk." Man, things were different then. So I stood up straight, and I was walking around, and I came up upon this room where there was a sign. Of course, I couldn't read it, but it was some warning sign, like don't go in there or something, some big warning, do not pass. But being a child of 8, I looked at that sign, and I had no idea I was on the bed. And I looked inside, and laying on the bed was a mummy. Yeah, a mummy. It was this, you couldn't see any face or anything. It was this child wrapped in gauze from head to toe, white gauze, laying in the bed. What's a child to do like me? I mean, I'm all about the adventure from the get-go. And I looked and I said, I was mesmerized. I had seen that movie that week, and so I started moving. Are you still with me? I started moving towards the bed, creeping to get a closer look. And I almost got to the bed, and someone grabbed my shoulder and I screamed. It was the nurse. She walked me right out. Well, you know, that memory, when you're terrified and you've seen a mummy, it stays in your head forever. Now, here's the funny part of how the world turns. Fast forward, like, gosh, 40 years? 35, 40 years? Yeah, maybe 30 some years. I moved to Oregon. And I start working in labor and delivery at the hospital. And, you know, I'm new to the area, and I'm talking to some nurses, and you're getting to know and share things, you know. And then I find out one of the nurses that I'm working with in Oregon grew up in the same area of California that I was living in at the time. You know where I'm going. And we start talking, because we're nurses, we start talking about the hospitals in the area. And I said, well, yeah, that was the only hospital back then, you know. I said, I was in there when I was 8. And let me tell you the story about when I had my appendix out. And I'm telling her this story, and she looks at me and she goes, that was me. Blow me over. Blow me over. I said, no way. And she goes, that was me. We're the same age. It was the only hospital. And what she had done, how she ended up in there was, her little friend told her that she could get out of going to school if she rubbed poison oak under her armpits or on her legs, you know. And so she's an all or nothing little girl, and she rubs that stuff all over her. So bad that she got hospitalized and had to be wrapped. I mean, what are the chances of that? The world is such an amazing place. That's why I know that there's going to be some amazing things that come out of what we're doing right now. We have had so much loss, but I know that the world is an amazing place. So, I am going to show you the reason I went off on this tangent was because of this chart. Is that not amazing? It says, and the reason I went on the tangent was because of the Japanese horror films. May Godzilla destroy this home last. So there's your home, right in here with the windows, and here's Godzilla, and may he destroy your home last. Yeah, I don't know. I just had to have it. I just thought it was a hoot, because Godzilla, you know, that was the thing. Okay, I know that was really off the charts. Well, I've been kind of a monogamous stitcher this week because the birthday is this week, and this is not going to get done in the mail. I mean, it's not going to be in the mail, but it is going to get done because I am so close, and so I wanted to show you. Yes! almost there. I mean, I'm almost there. And then, so later this week, I'm going to FFO this, and then I'll show you on Friday when I go to the next Mania start. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me. I just needed to rant about everything. I needed to rant about my vertigo. I needed to rant about my chart and my linen. Measure your linen. Yeah. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful day. And we'll see you on Friday. And hopefully I will have a haul to show you. I know there's stuff out there floating around, and maybe in that floating around thing there will be a piece that could replace that, the linen that is someday gonna come. Hang in there. Love you guys. Enjoy all that life has to give you this week.